York Mets are making multiple moves, and seriously, I mean plenty. 16 moves over the past couple of days, and a 17th that we will discuss at the end of today's video. That will lead into my next video later today. Big move as well coming up. Plenty to talk about. It's all on the pitching side of things, which is a little bit interesting as well. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. Welcome back to Mets Digest. As always, I ask you just interact with these videos. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions. But without further ado, let me get right into this video so I don't waste any time. Mets are in the midst of a 13-day stretch with games, 13 consecutive days where they will play baseball. Therefore, plenty of things are bound to happen, and roster reconstruction is most certainly one of them. So let's go ahead and recap all the moves since April 29th, which is when I last checked in with you guys. And there's a lot. Look at this. This is only 2 of the days. This is only the last 2 days of April, the 29th and the 30th. First move to talk about. On the 29th, the Mets transferred left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea from the 15-day IL to the 60-day IL. Now, why did they do this? Simply because the 40-man roster. 40-man roster, as in the name, only allows 40 men to be on that roster. That includes inactives. So anyone that's on the injured list that's on the 40-man, they count towards the 40-man. Again, even if they're not pitching at any level because of injury. However, the 60-day IL does not count towards the 40-man, which makes sense because it's 45 extra days that you have to spend on the injured list. You really can't abuse that necessarily. So the reason why the Mets sent Manaea to the 60-day IL is simply to set up the next couple of moves that we are going to talk about. It doesn't do anything with his rehab. It doesn't have any setbacks. Nothing to worry about there with Manaea. This is simply a roster play. Now, the move that I was referring to is the Mets recalling right-handed pitcher Kevin Hergert from Syracuse and DFAing Jose Urena. Now, originally the Mets thought that they were going to bring back Urena to start the beginning of the Diamondback series on the 29th, but plans changed very much so on the 28th, the day before, when the Mets squashed the Nationals 19-5. It was a blowout. Unfortunately, Urena was needed then, so he's not able to start the day after. And to make matters worse for him, he pitched pretty poorly. And he was also left to dry out there by Mendy because Mendy didn't want to use the bullpen, that being the Mets' skip, Carlos Mendoza. He didn't want to use the bullpen more than necessary. And this is not a shot on Mendy at all. This is just the way managers manage. They're not going to try and use the bullpen in a blowout. They're just going to send someone out there and say, hey, go end this game for me. I don't really care how many runs you give up. Just make sure we win this game. It's a sheer blowout. You're not going to blow it. Get me through the inning so I can save my bullpen, right? Unfortunately for Urena, it really didn't go well. 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 1 walk, only 3 Ks, 2 homers given up in the outing as well on 68 noted pitches. So he was really, really bad, and therefore he was DFA'd. Now, in replacement, the Mets decided to bring up Kevin Hergert. He pitched on the 29th, the day that he was brought up, in an 8-3 victory over the D-backs. Pitched okay, 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of which earned, 1 K on 42 noted pitches. But we go back to all of the transactions here. He went back down. And why did he go back down? Well, simply because he pitched. When someone pitches and you're in this kind of a situation in which you need roster moves to be happening quickly, you need to send down someone immediately after they pitched and threw 42 pitches, aka more than 20, 25, in which you could probably go out there the next day. If you know you're not going to be able to send someone out the next day, just send them down unless they're one of your main guys. And unfortunately, Hergert is just not one of those main guys. So even though he didn't pitch terribly, he simply went back down because he pitched. He made the one appearance that he needed to make, that the Mets needed him to make, did his job, went back down to AAA. Now, this was really, really unfortunate. In the corresponding move, or before it rather, Danny Young, left-handed pitcher, was placed on the 15-day IL, retroactive to the 27th with a left elbow strain. Now, that's devastating because A.J. Minter is down. A.J. Minter is the only other lefty on this Mets team, and he might be out for the season. Go check out Chris Gallagher's video from a few days ago in order to stay up to date with that injury. And really, really bad. That's devastating because now you have 0 lefties on that pitching staff in the bullpen, rather. You still have Peterson, who throws from the left side, but he's a starter. So now you have no lefties in the bullpen, and you always need at least one lefty in a major league bullpen. So that's a problem. However, it does open up two spots, in which I will get to in just a second, because the Mets transferred left-handed pitcher Brooks Raley from the 15-day IL to the 60-day IL. Again, this was another move to set up the other moves, because Raley, who recently was re-signed by the Mets, go check out my video there from, I believe, Tuesday, in order to stay up to date about my opinions and kind of just the whole situation in general. You need Raley to go to that 60-day IL. You got to make room on the 40-man roster. So what do the Mets do in the corresponding move? They selected the contracts of right-handed pitcher Chris Davinsky and left-handed pitcher Brandon Waldle from Syracuse. I believe I'm saying that right, and I want to give this guy the credit he deserves. Brandon Waddle. I think I'm saying that right. So both were brought up again for bullpen help, and they both pitched on the 30th in Game 2 of the Arizona series in a 4-3 defeat. Now, Davinsky was okay. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 38 noted pitches. But Waddle, he was awesome. 4 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, 60 noted pitches. Really, really cool that he came back as well, because he's got a cool story. Spent the past 3 seasons abroad in Korea and in China, just trying to get back to the major leagues and to make an MLB roster. And guess what? He's back. I think that's awesome. But unfortunately, he was bound to go back down. Mets had to option him and Davinsky, again, because they pitched, because they threw more pitches than is recommended to go off no rest. They needed rest. They have to rest in the minors because the Mets need arms to throw in the majors. So, again, despite the performance, it's just necessary. You can't waste roster space on guys who just won't throw. But Mendy, being a great manager, and just being a manager in general, made sure that his guy was comfortable, and he spoke to him after the game as well. Let's take a look here at the quote from the skip. He said, not only has he played with confidence that he can pitch at this level, but after that out, I believe that meant to say outing yesterday. I don't know what necessarily the quote was. I got it from a certain source. But after that out yesterday, probably outing yesterday against a good lineup, it's like, hey, you're good to pitch here. You could pitch here. You know you're going to be back. Part of the business here, but you're going to continue to play a big role moving forward. So go down there, continue to do what you've been doing, and we're going to need you. So good moves there from the skip. Good talk from him as well. But let's go back and talk some more moves, because he had to go down. That means people have to go up. You send 2 down, you got to bring 2 back up. Got to stay at that 26-man roster. And here we go. Mets fans, you might know this guy. That is Ty Adcock. Mets selected his contract as well as left-handed pitcher Genesis Cabrera. I believe I'm saying that right. It might be Genesis, not really 100% sure, to be honest with you. Now, Cabrera and Adcock both pitched on the day that they were brought up. And Cabrera fared 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 12 noted pitches. Adcock, on the other hand, wasn't great either. Also 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk on 18 noted pitches. So we go back to the next day, May 2nd, in which the Mets transferred left-handed pitcher A.J. Minter and right-handed pitcher Frankie Montas from the 15-day IL to the 60-day IL. Now, at this point, you know what that means. But what they did is they optioned Adcock, and they recalled right-handed pitcher Austin Warren. So here are Warren's career stats. Now, I found this weird because Adcock only threw 18 pitches on the 1st, May 1st, meaning he would be able to pitch the next day on the 2nd. So I don't really know why the Mets elected to go for Warren over Adcock. Maybe they saw something that they didn't like in terms of how Adcock pitched, but I found it a little interesting that they decided to go with that move in particular. Now, Cabrera is a necessity to stay up. He's got to stay here because it goes back to the problem that I was talking about with the lefties and the fact that the Mets have none, and you need a lefty in that bullpen. So Cabrera is that guy for now until hopefully Brooks Raley is back sooner rather than later, because I don't know how serious that Young injury is, but it doesn't look great. We know Minter might be out for the season. Mets really need a solid lefty. Again, could dip into the trade market here. We'll see. Any reports that escalate, I'll make sure to update you on that. But let's take a quick look here at Warren's career numbers. You see 11-0, which is pretty cool, but unfortunately wins, losses in my eyes are completely irrelevant because you could be a really bad pitcher and just benefit from great offense. A 3.14 ERA in 68 games, which is pretty solid, honestly. I give him props there. That's not bad at all. So, not bad. Pretty good statistics overall from Warren. This is the guy that the Mets have. Now, he might be on his way down. And why do I say he might be on his way down? Well, the Mets have announced that they are going to be bringing up top prospect Blade Tidwell. Now, this is huge. The Mets need another guy to start. This would be for game 1 of the doubleheader today on Sunday. We'll see. It's going to be Tidwell. He has already been announced. The roster moves haven't come out yet, which is why I think Warren is on the block. I think Warren is going to be coming down, and they're going to bring up Tidwell in his spot. Tidwell is here just to make a spot start, but the Mets' top prospect, or one of them, has a real shot to prove to the big leagues and to prove to us how good he really is. So I'm really excited to see him pitch. Tune in later today for a video in which I discuss how Mr. Tidwell did, as well as the actual move that happens. But unfortunately, that is all the time I have for you today on Mets Digest. A plethora of moves. We went over all 17 of them. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, let's go Mets.